Hey guys, welcome back to my watercolor channel, and today we paint a turtle on the beach. Basically a little baby turtle walking towards the water. First I do a small drawing, so I start with the turtle and I draw an oval circle. Then I kind of decide where is the horizon line, where is the sea, so I add some lines there. And also I add some clouds, so I have a little bit of an idea where to take off the paint. Then I continue with my turtle and I add some curved line into the circle, so basically just to indicate where the shells are, as well as adding the head and the little flippers. And then here at the back a little bit. More, another flipper. Okay, basically that was it. Now I start with my painting. So I prepare a lot of Phthalo blue. I thought it's really nice, cool blue color, blue shade, which I can add to the sky. But the first thing that I do is basically wet the upper half of the paper with some water, and then I add the prepared paint. My painting is tilted, so the paint is flowing downwards, and I spread it with a big brush, and I tried to add already some swinged motions, so it's kind of like hinting the motion of the clouds. Then I take off with a toilet paper some paint and to leave some white space in between. I take a smaller brush and then I add the same color around the sea line, so adding more of the Phthalo blue. My paper here is still quite wet, so it's basically wet to wet technique, but it is slowly drying up. Also in this painting I have not used very high quality paper, just to see what it looks like with a little bit of a low quality paper, and then adding more of the blue color. Now here you can see it's a little bit drying up. However, the sharpness of the clouds come out nicely. Then I mixed some Phthalo blue with a little bit of Viridian green and I added to the sea. You cannot see much of the sea, so it's just the waves. Now I focus on the sand, so mainly I use yellow ochre. I wetted the paper a little bit underneath the seashore, and then I spread it with a very big brush. I use a little bit of a different strength as well of the yellow ochre. I don't mind that the turtle is covered with the paint because it gets later a different layer, and then I mixed the yellow ochre some burnt umber. Obviously the turtle is the focal point, however I wanted to illustrate the movement, so my lines on the sea, on the sand, and on the beach are basically leading where the turtle is heading to. I used here also a little bit of a bigger brush. I thought I add some cadmium red to the mixture of yellow ochre and burnt amber, so it gives a really nice warm color. Partly the paper has dried, but I still continue to work on it, and it's mixing nicely together, while here and there you can see more of the hard edges. Then I dropped my brush, but I continue to work, and also those lines are showing where the turtle is moving forward to. Here I'm always worried that whether I'm adding too much of details, so too much of sand, because the turtle is supposed to remain the focal point, so I don't want to add too much to the rest of the beach. It's just a very simple painting. I waited till everything has dried, so I add now some crimson red to my brown mixture, and I continue to paint around the wave, around the shore, so add more texture there. I use a little bit of a thinner brush here, and I try to press the brush tightly onto the beach so it's not single lines. It should be a little bit darker to emphasize the form of the water. Then here a little bit more to the side. And I mixed a little bit of adding now a little bit of a darker bluish color as well around the waves, so they come out much better. So basically it's the same style of blue and a little bit of viridian green. And here a little bit, just a little bit details to the waves and to the form of the water. And then I add a little bit of a purplish color to the sand where the turtle is. Still kind of like, it looks a little bit like the turtle is on the hill. I used some crimson red, and I added at the top of the shell of the turtle, so it's not that realistic. And then I added a little bit of the phthalo blue to the crimson red to have a nice purple, and it's mixing nicely together, as well as on the flippers, adding more of the fish colors. It is a very light layer because I want to add more layers on it, and so that it looks more three-dimensional rather than really flat. Now I add a little bit of a darker color underneath the flippers, underneath the turtle, so it's a little bit of a shadow, and it makes the turtle come out nicely. Also some darker color onto the flippers of the little cutie. And just basically adding some more details, so real, where the most darkest spots are. Then I added stronger shadows, so using basically purplish colors out of red and blue, and I spread it nicely underneath. I also use a little bit of water to spread the paint. And then I continue with the rest of the beach. I thought to add more turtles at the front, but I wasn't sure that it looks that good. Now I press the brush quite tightly onto the paper and have some yellow ochre, just one really light layer, and then continue with the turtle, adding more of a dark of dull blue. So now it's really just adding more form to the shell of the turtle. And I'm more working on the flippers. And onto the head. The head remains quite dark and you can't really see at the front, so it's actually quite good for beginners because then you don't need very high drawing skills. Now at the edge of the shell, on the reference picture, it was quite whitish and quite light, so I tried to add here some lines to leave some white there, and then adding more colors underneath. And looking now and again on the reference picture what the turtle looks like. Now I use a very thin brush to add more of the shell lines, so to emphasize the different patterns at the top, but I leave out as well so it's not too dark. And a little bit reddish colors at the top. And mixing more of the brownish color, and here adding some rose madden. It doesn't matter which colors basically you have, you can use the ones you have used before, so you just add some cadmium red. Now the beach or the shore has dried, so just add here and there some darker bits so it's not that boring. That's basically at the edge of the other layers, emphasizing a bit the sand pits. But I vary also with the strings, so adding here a bit lighter layer and then continue with the turtle. I thought the colors look too dark and it's too flat, so I take off some paint. I put my very thin brush into water and then rub it onto the different shell parts, and then take a piece of toilet paper and take off, so you can see basically lifting up as it is in the watercolors, and you can see that it looks much nicer here. Then I thought the belly looks a bit too pale and add a slight layer of bluish colors, as well taking off some paint from the flippers. And then a bit more from the side. And then a bit from further away, taking off some paint so it's more blurry. Okay, that was basically it. It was a relatively fast painting. I hope you enjoyed it, and remember to subscribe. Bye!